What's good, YouTube? Welcome to this episode of my YouTube channel where I'll be sharing with you the pairs I have on my watch list for the incoming week. So let me check today's date. This is currently Saturday, 5th of April, 12:38, Saturday, 5th of April. So I'll be showing you the pairs I have for the next coming week, which starts on the 6th or 7th. So the first pair on my watch list is Euro USD, and this is currently the weekly time frame on Euro USD. Let's do a deep dive together. So we're going to investigate the market structure. Here, this was a higher high, this was a higher low, this was a higher high, this was a higher low, this was a higher high, and this was a lower low. And this is where price switched bearish. So the current trend on the lower time frame is bearish. This was a lower low. This was a complex pullback that's giving us the lower high, and this was the lower low. So the anticipation is for a lower high to give us a lower low. So let me mark out the break of structure. This was the break of structure right here. This was a break of structure. After the market broke structure, this was the swing high that caused the break of structure and leave this single. And this is the swing low. So this is the anticipation on Euro USD. We're expecting Euro USD to continue the bearish trend anytime soon. And as you can see, we've pulled back into very premium level of support and resistance, which I'll be marking out for you right now. See, this was resistance, resistance. All of this was resistance. And the market has come back to this zone, and notice how the last weekly candle closed with this humongous wick. So this week shows signs of weakness that the sellers are about to continue back into the market. So what I would love to see is drop down to the daily time frame. So now on the daily time frame, although the daily is still bullish, this is what I'm thinking. The daily is still bullish. The weekly pro trend aligns with the daily pullback. So let me mark out daily structure. This is a higher high, this is a higher low, and this is a higher high on the daily. So although we're in a weekly bearish trend, that's why I'm in support of the sales. The daily could give us a higher low to continue a higher high. That's a probability that could happen. But what I'm supporting is these sales that are about to happen right now. So we could just, if the market is going to continue bullish, we could be catching a daily pullback. But if the market is going to continue the swing trend, we'll be catching a weekly swing trade. So if you drop to the 4 hour, you can see where price shifted structure on the 4 hour time frame. So this is a double top, this is a lower low, this is a lower high, this is a lower low. So I'm expecting a lower high to continue the lower low. So what I'll do is jump to a time frame where we can see this clearly, which is like a 2 hour or 1 hour. There you go. So yes, you can see on the 2 hour time frame, we have bearish market structure, which is clean. We have a lower high, we have a lower low. So we're expecting this lower high to at least give us this lower low. Then depending on how we close below this, these are zones that could potentially take price forward. But if price manages to close below this zone, these sales could continue to all the way here. And if it's able to close below that zone, we could also take it to the final destination, which is the swing lows. So this does not mean I'm going to hold the entire setup for all of that. This is just my potential scenarios. And another thing I'm okay with happening with is that the daily could kick in because this is a daily higher high. The daily could kick in and form a higher low and give us another higher high. That's also a probability that could happen, but I'm okay with that. This could be a higher high that could give us this higher low that could just give us another higher high. So that could happen, but either ways, I'm supporting the sell bias for Euro USD because we're in a weekly on a weekly support zone. So I feel like the weekly should send us down. So that's all for Euro USD. I'm expecting sales from this zone here. Let me delete this. Expecting sales from this zone. That's Euro USD. The next pair on our watch list is USD CHF. Let's go to the weekly time frame again. So on the weekly time frame on USD CHF, you can see we're bearish. No need to start investigating that much market structure. But let me just do a little. This is a lower low. This was a lower high. This was a lower low. This was a lower high. This was a lower low. So we're expecting a lower high to give us a lower low. That's the weekly bias. So if you drop down to the daily time frame, we have it clearer. You have a lower low. So weekly and daily are both pointing to the downside. And this is the POI would love to sell from. I don't with this much impulse, I don't know if the market is going to pull back that deep. But if the market comes back there, I would love to sell from this zone. But in the meantime, if you go to the 4 hour, for the daily to pull back, the 4 hour is going to switch bullish. So if you go to the 4 hour time frame right now, just a moment. So if you go to the 4 hour time frame, you can see we're already switching bullish. And what do I mean by that? We had a lower low here, we had a lower high, we had a lower low, we had a lower high, and now we're having a higher high. So I'm anticipating a higher low to take us to that zone. Then when we come here, we can now start waiting for the structure shift to continue the pro trend. So in the meantime, what I'm waiting for is for a higher low to form here. Let's drop down to a time frame where we can see this clearer. So, and if you also look at it in a certain way, it looks like a head and shoulders pattern. So what we can see here, let me remove this, is that this market also has potential of just forming. This is a lower low, this is a lower high, this is a lower low, this is a higher high. So I would love a higher low here to give us a higher high. That's the scenario me I'm supporting. But the only problem with this trade is that we have a resistance here. And this resistance could easily send us to the downside because we are trading against a lot of momentum. This is a lower low, this is a lower high. You can call this a lower low, you can call this a lower high that could send us to the downside. But I personally would love to see something like this happen. Something like this that then gives us a higher high. And this is the bias I'll be supporting on this setup. So you could take an aggressive entry here. This is the aggressive one, which I might take. I don't know. This is the aggressive entry. This is the conservative one. Because if the market is able to clear this zone, there's nothing else holding us. So I don't know. Probably the conservative one is the right thing to do, but I'm feeling aggressive, feeling a bit aggressive right now. So yeah, this is all for USD CHF, and I'm not also undermine the fact that the market could do this, but I'm supporting the bullish side. Next pair is USD JPY. USD JPY is something similar to USD CHF. So if you go to the daily time frame, you can see that we're very bearish on the daily time frame. Let me mark out the market structure just a little bit. We had a lower low here, we had a lower high, we've had a lower low, we've had a lower high, we've had a lower low. So the anticipation is for a lower high to give us what? A lower low. That's for the daily. But if you go to the 4 hour time frame, you can catch some counter trends. And for the daily to pull back, the 4 hour is going to switch completely bullish. So here, this is the 4 hour time frame right now. You can see a higher high. Sorry, just a moment. You can see a lower low, give us a lower high, give us a lower low. Now we're having a higher high. So if we get a higher low, that gives us a higher high. I'll be interested in taking this trade. Let's go to like the 1 hour time frame so you can see the structure change clearer. Yep, something like this. These are two potential places we could buy from. We could either buy from here or we could buy from here. Let's delete this. So any of the two is valid. But when the market is impulsive like this, it does not really pull back deep. So if we get a buy setup from this zone right here, I'd be interested in taking this counter trend trade. So we're catching a daily pullback and a 4 hour pro trend, something like this into that zone 1 to 3. So yeah, this is a solid setup. Let me just set my alarm right here, right now. Add alert. So when the market comes there, I'll be looking for my confirmation. Let me also add alert on the other one, USD CHF. Yeah, USD CHF. We put an alert here. I'd love to see USD CHF clear this zone, sha, because to be on the safer side, right? I think I prefer this setup up here. Does not invalidate the one down though, but I just prefer the one that clears this zone first to give us that retest for USD CHF. So I've seen USD JPY. What else do we have? AUD USD. AUD USD is solid, but it's not probably not going to play out as soon as we think. Need to mark out the simple market structure. We're extremely bearish on the higher time frame. I already marked it out. So this was a lower. Let me delete it and mark it together with you. So what we had here, we had a lower low, we had a lower high, we had a lower low. So I'm expecting a lower high from that zone to just continue the lower low. But this one, I won't be interested in taking any counter trend trades because the daily has not yet switched bullish. For the weekly to pull back, the daily has to switch bullish. So the daily hasn't quite switched bullish. So yeah, I'm just going to leave this one to cook. It's going to take longer to come into fruition, but it's just something you can monitor with the corner of your eyes. Same thing we have on GBP NZD on the weekly time frame. We're also extremely bullish. So on the weekly time frame, let me remove the structure I already marked out. Matter of fact, let me just clean the chart and go through the analysis together with you. So what you can see on the weekly time frame is extremely bullish market structure. We have a higher high here, we have a higher low, we have a higher high, we have a higher low, we have a higher high, we have a higher low, we have a higher high, and patience for a higher low to give us what a higher high. And notice how all along the structure has been using support and resistance, break and retest, another break and retest. We have another break and retest here, and we have another break and retest potentially coming up here. So yeah, I would love to buy from there. You could take some daily pullbacks. For the weekly to pull back, the daily is going to switch bearish. But I'm not seeing that structure shift I love seeing. Let's also look at it on the 4 hour. On the 4 hour, the structure shift is not clean enough. If we had, hold on, let me quickly mark out something. If we had something like this, a clean structure shift like this, a lower low, like this was a lower high, then we can take this sales, but the structure shift is just not clean enough. So I'm genuinely not interested in taking this pair until, let's say, price action develops further, but it's not as high probability as the first few pairs. So yeah, I've spread and speed or spare through the watch list. Excuse me. One, two, three, four, five. We have 5 pairs. Does not mean I'm going to take 5 trades. Probably the trades that look the highest probability is USD CHF and USD JPY. Probably USD JPY has the highest probability of playing out. So if only I'm able to catch like a 1 to 3 on only USD CHF, hope my audio is recording. If I'm able to catch a 1 to 3 on USD CHF, I'll probably just call it a week. So yeah, that's all for the watch list. Hope you took value from this video. And it's just Saturday, so you have enough time to ponder on these trades. I'll send it to my watch list now. Yeah, your USD is also valid. So yeah, that's all for the video. Hopefully you took value. If you have any questions, ask. Then I'll be sending these pairs to my Telegram group right now because so people can just go through it and have enough time to make decisions on their own. So yes, that's all for the video. See you in the next episode. Peace.